Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Dr. Sarah's Café. This is your weekly refill. All right, folks, we have a lot to get into today. So I want to start with a review because today, when I'm publishing this, we have the Capricorn full moon, the Capricorn blue moon, which is the second full moon in the sign of Capricorn at 29 degrees, directly exact conjunct my natal moon. And I did it last week, so I added the Capricorn full moon to last week's refill just because it happened so early in the day. The moon would have come and gone by the time most people saw this week's video. So I just included it with last week's video so that you could have some insights and some reflections on it leading up to the event. But because it's happening today on the day I released this video, I do want to start with a review. And so ask yourself some journal questions or just, quiet contemplation questions. How are you feeling? What's top of mind for you as this cycle comes to an end? Are there any shifts or changes or new stuff coming in? And with full moons, they are often about letting go. So what old stuff feels ready to release or to be let go of or to be wrapped up and completed? And you might also take some time in your journal to sketch or outline the new vision of what to build next, because Capricorn energy is very much about what we are building, what we build for the long-term future, and even what we build for the collective, okay? So sketch or outline that for yourself, knowing that this blue moon, this second full moon in the sign of Capricorn, is likely wrapping up something that we had been building for years in the past, wrapping that up, completing that, moving on, transitioning out of that so that we can now build our next chapter, write the next book, start the new thing, right? So sketch or outline that for you now. And it's okay if you don't have all the details, right? Because this is building for the long term. And so most of us will not have the exact detailed outline of everything that this building process in the final outcome is going to entail, but we will at least have or maybe sense or feel some direction, a general direction going forward. Okay, so a little different this week, I'm not opposed to switching it up from time to time. So getting to this week now, starting Sunday the 21st, our flavor of the week is lion's mane. You see, lion's mane, okay? So this is a play on words. There are two lion's manes. There's the mane of the actual lion, the animal, and then there's also the plant, the mushroom, lion's mane, which is an ingredient used for cooking and brewing things. And so the lion's mane is for the drink, the beverage, the food side of the cafe. Okay, so if you have ever cooked with lion's mane, let me know. If you've ever prepared meals or beverages with lion manes, let us know in the comments. I have not. Full transparency, I don't think I have ever tried or tasted. Certainly have never cooked with lion's mane, but I also don't think I've ever consumed anything with lion's mane in it that I know of. But then the lion piece also has a lot to do with the astrology side of the cafe, which not all cafe members are as into astrology as I am, but I certainly am deeply into it. I love it. It's so cool. And so let's get into the astro ingredients here. It's Leo season, okay? Happy birthday, Leos, Leo lions, the royalty, the king of the jungle, kings of the zodiac, kings and queens, the nobility of the zodiac. Leos, it's your time to shine, okay? The sun is the planet that rules the sign of Leo. So the sun moving into the sign of Leo means the sun is going home. Okay, the sun is like, listen, I've been on this journey through 11 other zodiac signs and I'm coming back to my bag. You hear me? The sun is in its bag in the sign of Leo. Whew. It's all about shining bright. It really is. And then as soon as the sun enters the sign of Leo, as soon as it comes home, it makes this opposition with Pluto retrograding in Uranus, this face off with Pluto, the planet of power. But the sun is also a planet of power. Pluto is death and transformation, sort of internal underworld power. The sun is like that outward external power, that identity. While Pluto is the shadow, the sun is the opposite of the shadow, right? And so we have this great balance, this great harmony, and I'm calling it solar powered confidence and strength. Solar powered confidence and strength. So we're not in the tarot ingredients yet, but Leo in the tarot deck is represented by the sun card and the strength card, which depicts a lion on it. Okay, so solar powered confidence and strength. In Leo season, it's time to let us hear you roar. Okay, tap into your roar. Tap into your inner queen or king or royalty of the jungle. Okay, this Leo season. And then also, what do you have authentic pride in? Speaking of lions, what do you take pride in? And authentic pride not in this is not, oh, I'm better than other people, or I'm so prideful and boastful and look at me. Although Leos are not opposed to people looking at them, okay? Center stage. And I've already started introducing Leo energy in some of the previous weeks as well. But thinking about, what do you feel confident about? What do you feel grateful for? What do you love? So, if I say I'm Black and I'm proud, it's not that I think, oh, I'm infallible and no other human is as good as me. It just means I have confidence in my Blackness, and I'm grateful for my experience in my body, and I love not only my own Blackness, but other people's Blackness as well, right? And so there's a healthy, authentic pride in that. So for you, there could be multiple things, so many things that you have to be proud of. And how can you focus on those during Leo season? How can you really tap into the things that you feel most proud of? And I'm also feeling led to tell you that if there are things you don't feel as proud of, maybe that you would like to develop more pride in yourself, Leo season is a great time to do that, right? The sun being in this sign of the proud, brave, courageous lion, okay? And the other astro ingredient, another planet is coming home. Mercury goes home to Virgo. Now, I know I'm a Gemini, so I always talk about how Geminis are ruled by Mercury, but so are Virgos. Okay, so any Virgos in the house, shout out. Rep your sign in the comments, okay? Mercury goes home to Virgo on the 25th of this week. Now, Mercury in Virgo is very different from Mercury in Gemini. If you know any Virgos and Geminis, you know. We ain't exactly the same. We are in many ways, but we not the same. Point being, Mercury in Virgo is grounded. It's not as flighty as Mercury in Gemini, okay? It's practical, it's organized, methodical, patient, also measured. Mercury in Virgo pays attention to details. Mercury in Virgo is also about communication, but it's also editing that communication, revising that communication. And Mercury in Virgo can also be about decluttering physical spaces as well, right? Decluttering and editing our material environment because it is an earth sign, right? So improving your health through a systematic plan or regimen of exercising and eating, going through your house and decluttering and reorganizing your closets, optimizing things, optimizing the files on your computer, organizing all those files on your desktop, okay? Mercury in Virgo, you can think I have the image of the binders here. So it's like Gemini will just like get all the information and it just be like in a pile on their desk. And then Virgo comes in with their Mercury energy and they organize that information. So whereas Geminis will have a lot of communication, it's the Mercury and Virgo energy that systematizes that information, that data, and that conversation, right? So that it's more streamlined, more optimized. Gemini just is content. Mercury and Gemini is just content to just keep gathering it, right? Like, we're not going to look back on it ever. We just want to keep consuming it. But Virgo's like, no, let's make this legible. Let's cut out the extraneous details. Let's color code the spreadsheets. So definitely thinking about spreadsheets and file folders and file cabinets. And that's the kind of energy that Mercury brings when it's in the sign of Virgo. Okay. So yeah, this would be a good time. We're kind of past spring cleaning, but it's a great season to help you get organized in some area of your life. Okay. So pay attention to where Virgo is in your chart. For me, Virgo rules my 4th house, and I can already feel the energy of wanting to organize my physical spaces and make them high quality. I'll also say that too, like Virgo energy in general is about like high quality. It has really high standards, partly because it can tend towards, when it's not managed healthily, it can tend towards hypochondria. And so like it's very particular. Virgo energy is like very, very particular about the space and the details and the like, oh no, I don't want that, or you know what I mean? So yeah, it's like hyper focus on detail sometimes. But when you need that energy for a time, for a season, for a few days or a few weeks to get something done, like to clear out the closet, declutter your file system, etc., then that sort of obsessive energy can be very helpful to just go in and get it all done in that time frame. Okay, so practical stuff there. Now let's get into the tarot depictions, or tarot ingredients rather. So on the screen, I'm making it big so that you can really see this angel figure. So this is one of the traditional depictions of temperance energy. Again, created by Rider-Waite-Smith. Pamela Coleman Smith is the artist who drew all the images. She illustrated all 78 tarot cards of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Okay. So it's a woman, and she's also a woman of color, right? So that representation is there. But we see that there's an angel pouring a liquid between 2 cups, right? And then in the larger depiction, when you look at an actual card, the angel's foot has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on land. So you can already see it's about balance. It's about harmony. It's about combining 2 different energies, or being able to straddle the fence between one energy and another energy. But another analogy that one of my favorite psychic tarot readers and astrology and practitioners uses for temperance is the slow cooker crock pot, right? The slow cooker crock pot. And so keywords for temperance, for those who are not as familiar with tarot energy: healing and spirituality. So I'll make it bigger again. If you see here at the top of the forehead of the angel's forehead, it's the glyph of the sun. So the sun at the center of the angel's forehead looks a lot like what doctors would wear around their heads. I don't know what it was called, but older depictions of doctors where they had that like circular thing in the center of their foreheads. I don't know. That has to be like coincidental. I'm not sure how that connection came to be, because these illustrations were created long before. Were they? Actually, I don't know what the overlap of time is between that depiction of doctors with this illustration of the tarot. But anyway, healing, physical healing. So temperance energy often comes out when someone is in the medical field, for example, but it's also spiritual healing and spirituality in general, right? So the angel one maybe being an obvious giveaway for that, but also the water, the cups in the water, also water symbolizing spirituality, right? And then we also have alchemy and balance. So I also often think about mixology, right? And it's not about whether it's an alcoholic beverage or just tea blends or mixing mocktails, right? It's the blending of 2 different liquids, blending of 2 different energies, blending of 2 different families, 2 different ideas, 2 different concepts, 2 different forms of spirituality or religion, right? So alchemy and balance. And then sort of a less constructive energy of temperance is like stirring the pot. So we think about the crock pot, and you stir it to mix things up. You stir it to blend things in, to make sure things are diffused throughout the entire dish, throughout the entire soup or concoction that you're making. But stirring the pot is also a slang phrase to mean starting mess, stirring things up, right? Creating, like shaking things up or stirring the pot just for the sake of creating drama. And so you have to be mindful of that with the temperance energy, that you're not being sucked into things that really aren't your issues to deal with, okay? And it is also patience and moderation. And so that slow cooker crock pot, right? Like, oh, I'm going to let this simmer. I'm going to let it marinate for a while and like make it just right. And even the angel mixing the liquids between the two cups, right? It's like, oh, I'm going to keep mixing until things are well balanced in both cups, till I have the perfect proportion of this liquid with that liquid, etc. And of course, temperance means moderation. Think about the temperance movements where they were telling people not to drink. And so the temperance, in that sense of patience, it's also moderate thinking, moderate behaviors. And, you know, maybe someone watching has a temper and needing to moderate that. But the temperance energy also represents Sagittarius in the tarot deck. So I mentioned every zodiac sign has a tarot card that represents them. So Sagittarius is a fire sign. And so that does mean that what's cooking in your crock pot might be a bit spicy. Okay. It might have a little kick to it. Okay. It might be a little spicy. And so even though it's this angelic being mixing liquids and waters, and it has sort of a peaceful, calming, healing energy to it, it's also still has that fire, still has that punch, that oomph, that kick to it, right? And so it is about like action, taking action to stir things up, to mix things, to create this alchemy, to create balance, right? So you're not just waiting on the balance. You are making adjustments to create that balance. And I think actually, now that I'm saying this, I think Mercury and Virgo is going to be really helpful for that, right? In terms of seeing what's out of order, and temperance energy helping us to create more order, both Mercury and Virgo as well as temperance. I have something there. A little thread. And then the other tarot card that came out is Strength. So Strength also represents the sign of Leo. As I mentioned, the Strength card in the tarot deck, it has a lion on it in most traditional depictions. And so one thing that's coming together as I combine these energies is having the strength to act in moderation. A lot of times people think like, oh, if you hold your tongue, like, oh, it's because you're weak, right? But sometimes it takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage to walk the middle path. Sometimes it takes a lot of strength and courage to compromise, to find that harmony, to be patient. It could take a lot of strength to wait for the food to be just right and not try to dip into it or sneak a taste before it's done. Okay. And I wanted to read a little bit about temperance from the tarot book that I have. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Tarot. I can link this below in the bookstore, but I wanted to read a few things from this as well, because part of what I want to do here too is help people find resources where they can study more of this stuff on their own. I don't claim to be the go-to expert in any of this, but I am maybe more actively engaged in learning about this stuff than other people. So whenever I find resources that have helped me, I'm happy to share those with you. So a few things from this book with temperance and energy specifically is that it's a call to spiritual connection and service. Angels in the tarot are also connected with time. With temperance, we are dealing with issues of the past, present, and future. So blending them, if you look here, blending the past, the present, and the future. And then just to geek out about tarot a little bit, with the Lovers, Archangel Raphael calls time on a present decision with future impact. With Judgment, Archangel Gabriel calls time on the past. So I just find that fascinating as a student of tarot cards and tarot reading. And then the terms of deeper meaning, temper your thoughts and actions to find balance and harmony. It is time to reconcile any area of your life that is out of kilter and to be hands-on about creating that balance. Temperance also shows you are connecting with your guides and angels. You may be given a sign, such as advice from a friend or even a stranger whom the angels have sent to help you. This may also be the beginning of a spiritual journey for you. In your projects, what you imagine you can create. You may also be inspired by an invention of work or art from the past. And the wisdom message is you are guided to find peace. Okay. So Temperance has a lot going on. Okay. It has a lot of meaning, a lot of stuff happening there. And a lot of it resonates for me. You know, I often share like how so much of what I'm saying is like right on par with my journey and where I'm at in life and with all this stuff. And so, yeah, wanting to connect more with my spiritual guidance, guardian angels. The Temperance angel is Archangel Michael, who's known to be a protector, right? Okay. Next, we have the Divinity Leaves message, and we get the Wren, and that is so perfect for Leo season. Be bold and confident. Use all your resources to create your dreams. Okay. So remember I said in Leo season, it's time to let us hear your roar, solar powered confidence and courage. Okay. So the Wren, if you see wrens, you might see some out and about. Just let that be a reminder, a little nod from the universe that it's time to be bold. It's time to be confident and step up in some area of your life. Now, this doesn't mean you have to like be showy and flashy. There could be a quiet boldness. There can be a quiet, stoic confidence even, right? Although again, with Leo, there might be a little flair. It's not opposed to a little flair to things, okay? And use all your resources to create your dreams. And so Leo and season in general can bring that boldness and confidence. And I'm also getting that with strength and temperance as the tarot ingredients. That's how we use all of our resources to create our dreams. And so we might have different pockets of resources. How can we blend them together to help us achieve a goal, to help us grow in some area of our personality, our life, or career, right? Pulling together, synthesizing, using a little bit of ingenuity about how we pull from this resource and we pull from that resource and we pull from this resource and that resource and this resource and this resource. And we use all these resources and blend them into the perfect concoction of our vision, our goal, right? Where we're trying to head in life. And my hope is that if you're watching this, you have vision for your life. I know some people are like, oh, I'm just living day to day, just taking it day by day. And that is a valid approach to this lifetime, I guess, as valid an approach as any. But I just wonder, like, if you would get a lot out of these videos, if that's your approach to life. So that's what I'm saying. If you never explored the idea of having a goal or a vision or wanting to manifest and co-create an ideal life for yourself, or a healthier life, or a more prosperous life, or a more engaged and peaceful and blissful life, a happier life, whatever that is, just, I think my belief system, my paradigm is that we are born to grow. Right? I don't think we're born to just kind of wander, but I don't know, maybe that's just my paradigm. All right. The bulletin board for this week is all about the Café. So brought to you from the Café. I've talked about this coffee brand several times before, Kahawa 1893. And on their website, they have big and bold as featured on Shark Tank. I need to find their episode of Shark Tank and watch it. That's what I need to do. But I've been watching Shark Tank lately, just to inspire me as I think about building the Café, right? And growing the Dr. Sarah's Café as a business, as an idea, as a concept. So, knowing that, just seeing the connection between this coffee brand actually getting their start, or maybe gaining momentum rather, by being on Shark Tank. I just see it as like really motivating for me. And that's one of the reasons why I resonate with this brand, right? Is that I feel like with Dr. Sarah's Café, I'm in a similar space, in that like Shark Tank space of testing an idea, validating an idea, thinking about assessing the sustainability, the viability of the idea. And so their coffee brand is continuing to thrive, continuing to be successful. And in fact, they recently put out their line of K-Cups. So if you have a Keurig or a Keurig-like machine, they now have the individual servings of K-Cups, and I just ordered my box of their K-Cups. They don't have the African spice blend in K-Cups as far as I've seen, but they do have their other two popular blends, the dark roast and the medium roast, I think. So I'm excited to try that. Of course, I'm going to document it and share it with you all. Let you know, like, okay, K-Cup, we're rocking with the K-Cups now. Okay, now let's look at the pastry and poetry. So I'm not going to read this one either. I said either. There was something else, as if there was something else I didn't read. Just because we've had a lot in this video already. It's been a jam-packed with content. But since it's the 21st, it's just a couple of days before the summer book club meetup in Dr. Sarah's Café that I've been talking about for several weeks now. And so I have to do one final reminder here that we will be using the space inside the Café membership to meet live on a video conference very similar to Zoom. And I will be talking about the book, discussing the book. If anyone joins who has also read the book, feel free to chime in about the discussion. But actually, since this is one of the first meetups, one of the earlier meetups in the beta phase of the Café, it's also really just a chance to socialize and to meet other members of the Café. Okay, so please do not let the fact that you haven't read the book stop you from coming to this meetup, because we're really just trying to gather for the first time, whoever is able to make it. Okay, so that's July 23rd, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. And the pastry of the week, ooh, just look at it. Look at it. It is coffee cake. Coffee cake. I really could really use some coffee cake right now, but I'm like on a no direct sugars diet. So for a couple of months anyway. All right. Your to-go or your takeaway, my dears. My spiritual strength shines through. I lean on the support of my guardian angels. My spiritual strength shines through. I lean on the support of my guardian angels. And with that, my dear, I hope that this session has helped you to refill your spiritual cup. And I hope to see you in another video. Take care.